I have to admit, I became somewhat addicted to using ChatGPT to help me write. I mean, it's so good, and I write a lot as a content creator. Course content, YouTube videos, scripts and hooks and titles and social media captions, emails. Ah, there's so much to write. So when ChatGPT is down or I am unable to access it for some reason, I get into panic mode. And that is because I realize so much on it for my writing tasks. In this lecture, we are going to use ChatGPT to do different things. We'll see how we can critique our own writing, ask for constructive feedback, but also ask it to suggest improvement on what we wrote. And during the lecture, we'll dive into different tasks, such as asking ChatGPT to edit writing for clarity, flow, and readability. We'll have ChatGPT rephrase awkward or unclear sentences. We'll request feedback on tone, voice, and messaging. We'll ask for suggestions on how to improve the structure or the organization of what we are writing. And we'll identify grammatical errors and typos. All right, let's start with the first prompt of the lecture. The context for this one is that I am Ronnie and I am writing my course about DAL-E, right? Let's go back in time a bit. So I am here trying to figure out how to best phrase a piece of an introduction lecture for the course. All right, so I have my passage here. I would like to ask ChatGPT to improve, to suggest some improvement to this copy. So for that, I am going to be using this prompt right here. Edit this text for grammar, legibility, and better flow. It needs to be easy to understand. Show me what you edited by bolding it and explain why you decided to make these improvements. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to paste my text right here underneath. Okay, so I'm going to delete the brackets here and add my piece of text. Okay, so I pasted it here. It's a bit long, but not too long. And I'm just going to launch the prompt. All right, so ChatGPT immediately starts like full on. Okay, so the title, Advancement in Text-to-Image Quality. Okay, so the original text is this one right here, Advancement in Text-to-Image Quality. We've seen a rapid improvement in the quality of outcome generated by AI tools like DAL-E. The jump in quality between the different versions of DAL-E has been significant, bringing DAL-E 3 to the level of Midjourney. The quality is now so good that it becomes increasingly difficult to differentiate AI-generated images from real photos or human-made art. So there you go. I'm not going to read the full excerpt, but I want to see what ChatGPT came up with here. So we've witnessed a rapid improvement in the quality of outcomes generated by AI tools like DAL-E. The leap in quality between different versions of DAL-E has been significant, bringing DAL-E 3 to a level comparable to Midjourney. The quality has now reached a point where it's increasingly difficult to distinguish AI-generated images from real photos or human-made art. Okay, so a couple of different things have been changed here, obviously. And what I like is that ChatGPT kind of listened to our suggestion to bold the different changes. So the changes have not been bolded in the text, which would have been nice, but they have been summed up right here at the bottom of the outcome. So we changed outcome to outcomes to maintain plural consistency. We rephrased quality of outcome generated to quality of outcomes generated for better flow. We changed jump to leap for variety and clarity, replaced bringing DAL-E 3 to the level of Midjourney with bringing DAL-E 3 to a level comparable to Midjourney for clearer comparison. We added where it's before increasingly difficult for smoother readability. We rephrased this boost in quality clearly opened up new creative horizons to this surge in quality has clearly opened up new creative horizon for better coherence, etc., etc. So it pinpoints 8 different suggested improvements to my copy here. And overall, I think all of these improvements, all of these suggestions do make a lot of sense. So that was level 1, I would say, of my demonstration, to ask ChatGPT to simply edit my copy for grammar, flow, and legibility. And if possible, outline, like show me the mistakes I made or show me the improvement you provided so that I can learn from them as well. Now, let's move on to the second prompt. All right, in my second prompt, I want to ask for critique. I want to ask ChatGPT to act as my editor, all right, and critique a piece of text I will throw at it. So the prompt is this one. You are my editor. I want you to critique this piece of content. Focus on criteria like relevance, clarity, structure, engagement, tone, grammar, originality, coherence, conciseness, uniqueness, and flow. And once you are done critiquing, suggest an improved version. Okay, add your content. So I will replace these brackets with my actual content, which is another piece of course that I am writing. This time it's from this course right here. All right, so my content is this. I pasted here, and I'm going to add some air quotes so we kind of know where the quote is starting. So it goes like this. So what does this course bring to the table? My mission is simple. Deliver a no-nonsense, no BS approach to ChatGPT. I'll keep it direct and practical. The course begins with 3 foundational sections, introducing you to the chatbot, sharing a recipe for crafting effective prompts, basically prompt engineering 101, and my attempt to explain the technology behind ChatGPT in simple terms. So this passage is from the introduction to the course you're watching, and I'm just asking ChatGPT to critique this piece, this excerpt, as if it was my editor. All right, so let's see what the outcome of this one would be. So critique. And then it's using the different criteria I listed, right? So relevance, clarity, structure, engagement, tone, grammar. So I'm going to receive some feedback on each of these criteria. And you can swap the criteria that I wrote for any ones you like. But I just thought, okay, these are the usual, I would say the most important aspects of like what constitutes good writing. So let me start reading this answer. Critique. Relevance. The content seems relevant to individuals interested in learning about ChatGPT. Clarity. The message is fairly clear, but some parts could be more specific. Okay, interesting. Structure. The structure is straightforward, starting with an introduction and outlining what the course covers. Okay, cool. Engagement. The tone is somewhat engaging, but it could be more captivating. Okay. Tone. The tone is casual and straightforward, which may appeal to some audiences, but may not engage others. Next is grammar. The grammar is generally correct, but there are areas where sentence structure could be improved for better readability. Okay, I'm interested to hear about these sentences. Originality. While the topic itself may be original, the presentation could be more unique. Okay, coherence. The content flows logically, but some transitions could be smoother. All right. Conciseness. The message could be more concise by eliminating redundant phrases. Okay. Uniqueness. The content lacks unique elements that could set it apart from similar offerings. And finally, flow. The flow of the content is decent, but it could benefit from stronger transitions between ideas. And then it will give me its suggestion of an improved version. Okay, so what's in store in this course? My goal is straightforward. Provide a clear, no BS approach to understanding ChatGPT. I'll be direct and practical throughout. The course kicks off with 3 essential sections: an introduction to chatbots, a guide on crafting effective prompts, think prompt engineering 101, and a simplified explanation of the technology behind ChatGPT. And this improved version is actually, in my opinion, better than what I had written. It's snappier, it's wittier, and basically it keeps the same essence of my message. It just delivers it in a slightly snappier way, which I appreciate. All right, so I'm very happy about this prompt. All right, let's switch gear and try something different now. One of the strengths of ChatGPT, as we've explained already, is that it has a lot of knowledge, okay? And when it comes to writing, this could be leveraged in different ways. There are many different frameworks when it comes to copywriting that have been proven effective for specific things, like, for example, convincing people to buy. You have some framework for that. For negotiation, for example, there are some framework for that as well. For formulating your offer, different frameworks. So we are going to look into these frameworks and ask ChatGPT to adapt a piece of writing we have generated to a specific framework that should make it better and help us reach our goal. And the piece of text we are going to rework is the hook of a video, of a tutorial that I have created. So first, let me show you the prompt, okay? The prompt is this one. Rewrite the hook for this video using the problem, solution, agitation, PSA framework. Problem, so here we'll present a relatable problem. Solution, we'll introduce the solution and its benefits. And agitation, emphasize the consequences of not taking action. Okay, so that's kind of like a simple breakdown of what PSA means, what the framework stands for. And then we need to add our video scripts. All right, so I'm going to add a line here, just write script, and then paste my script here. I'm going to quickly read the script to you. There is a new AI chatbot in town that is quickly becoming a serious alternative to ChatGPT. It's called Claude, or Claude for our American friends. In this video, I want to give it a good spin and figure out what the hype is all about. Now, why did Anthropic, the company behind Claude, decide to give their cutting-edge AI model the name of an old French dude? I don't know. What I do know, after using it for a couple of weeks, is that Claude is powerful. But exactly how good is it? Are we talking ChatGPT good? Well, that is for you to decide. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 different ways I've used Claude to help with my daily task, so you can judge by yourself. So that was my hook. And don't get me wrong, this hook, I've already put a lot of work behind it. I probably already used ChatGPT to improve it, but I want to use it as an example to see how this time with this prompt, we can turn it into that PSA framework. So let's launch the prompt. All right, so there we go. We have our video hook kind of like reworked to fit into this framework problem, solution, agitation. So it starts with a problem. Are you struggling to keep up with the latest development in AI chatbots? With new options like Claude emerging, it's challenging to know which one is worth your time and investment. Okay, so that's the problem. There's many chatbots. How do you pick the right one? Solution. Introducing Claude, the AI chatbot that's quickly gaining traction as a viable alternative to ChatGPT. In this video, we'll explore what sets Claude apart and why it's generating so much buzz. Agitation. But what happens if you ignore this rising competitor? You risk falling behind the curve and missing out on the benefits that Claude brings to the table. Don't let uncertainty hold you back. Join us as we uncover the potential of Claude and how it can revolutionize your daily tasks. All right, so to be completely honest, I don't identify with this kind of hook at all. Okay, the other one, the one I read you first, the one I wrote, was much more personal, much more attuned to my style, to my tone of voice, right? But I just wanted to show you that you can force ChatGPT to rewrite a piece of content into a specific framework. And in this case, the PSA framework. All right, so that's all good and well, Ronnie, but how do I know about these frameworks? Well, very simply, you could use ChatGPT, prompt ChatGPT to discover them. Let me show you. For example, we could use this prompt right here. What are some popular copywriting frameworks for getting people engaged? Okay, let's try this. There are several popular copywriting frameworks designed to engage and persuade audiences effectively. Here are a few ones. So there is AIDA, Attention, Interest, Desire, Action. Okay, I'm not going to read the entire thing. There is PAS, okay, Problem, Agitate, Solution, or PSA, depend on the order, but that's the one we just used. There is FAB, Features, Advantages, Benefits. There is the 4 Ps, Promise, Paint, Prove, Push. Okay, didn't know this one. 5, Before, After Bridge, the BAB. Okay. 6, star, situation, task, action, and result. And 7, problem solution agitation. So basically there is problem solution agitation and there is problem agitate solution, the PAS here. I thought it was the same one, but these are two different ones, I guess because the order changes. So there you go. Once again, we see that we can really leverage ChatGPT in different ways. We can ask it to do a specific copywriting task, but at the same time, we can research and tap into its knowledge to, for example, figure out frameworks. So I really like that multitasking elements of working with ChatGPT. Let's move on. All right, something else we regularly do as people who write a lot of content is to search for synonyms and ways to avoid repeating the same words so that our copy sounds more elaborate, okay? So I have a prompt right here that will help you do just that, okay? I'm gonna read it to you. Give me a list of synonyms to replace the second and third appearances of the word presentation in the following sentence, and help me choose the most appropriate ones, okay? Add your sentence. So obviously, I'm gonna paste a piece of text here that talks about presentations, Canva presentations. It's actually the description of one of our latest YouTube videos, and it goes like this. Create engaging, professional-looking presentations easily and quickly with Canva. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to create stunning presentations using AI in Canva, how to use Canva templates effectively, how to customize your presentation deck, how to present it and share it with Canva. And last but not least, how to turn your presentation into a flipbook with Issue, a fantastic app available in Canva. So you see here the problem, engaging, create professional looking presentation. That's the first one. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to create stunning presentations. That's the second one. With AI, Canva, how to use Canva, customize your presentation deck. So I'm asking ChatGPT to replace this one, this occurrence, and this occurrence of the word presentation. Then there's a fourth one right here, but I think it's fine if I have two in my text. So let's see if it understood the task. So here are some synonyms for the second and third appearance of the word presentation. Create engaging, professional-looking presentation easily and quickly with Canva. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to create stunning slideshows. Okay, so slideshows. It's been bolded for my convenience. Using AI in Canva, how to use Canva templates effectively, how to customize your deck, how to deliver it, and share it with Canva. And last but not least, how to turn your slide deck into a flipbook. So it went a little bit overkill here and replaced the fourth occurrence of presentation as well, fitting well in a list of tutorial topics. Deliver, this implies the action of presenting, okay? And then slide deck, this is another term commonly used to refer for a set of slides. All right, so considering the context and the flow of the sentence, slideshows and slide deck are the most appropriate options to use as they provide variety and specificity while maintaining clarity. So I love that answer because first, it shows me, visually shows me with the bolded alternatives, I would say the synonyms have been bolded here. So I can immediately see what has been changed. Then it kind of breaks down for me kind of the meaning of each one and why it chooses to replace presentation for any of these words. And then it expresses its opinion on what would be the best choices. Okay, so I could simply follow up with, okay, that's a good choice. Go ahead and rewrite the sentence using your suggested changes. And then it will rewrite the entire thing by using the two alternatives it's suggesting we use here. So slideshows and slide deck. There you go. Create slideshows, customize your deck to deliver it. Last but not least, flipbook, fantastic slide deck right here. So yeah, once again, I'm pretty happy about this. I think not only am I able to improve my writing, but I'm learning as I go. I'm learning from the choices ChatGPT makes for me, which is pretty interesting. All right, let's wrap up this lecture with one last prompt. And in this one, I really want to see how far it can go, how creative, how imaginative it is, by asking it to elevate a piece of text that I have written with like a metaphor, like a comparison or some sort of image that would complement my sentence, that would bring it to life if you want. So let me first show you the prompt, which is this one. Elevate this paragraph with a colorful metaphor, a vivid analogy, or an imaginative comparison. The goal is to convey the same ideas in a more relatable and lively way. Okay, and then you paste your paragraph. So here I'm going to paste a little bit of copy from the ChatGPT course again, so a previous lecture. There you go. And here is the sentence I will submit it. The lessons in this section will guide you through extracting key insights from written resources like books and academic papers, leveraging online materials for self-directed learning. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with, what kind of analogy. In this section, you'll embark on a journey akin to panning for gold in a rushing river of knowledge. We'll equip you with the tools to sift through written treasures, be it the rich narratives of books or the scholarly depth of academic papers, unearthing precious insights. Furthermore, we'll navigate the digital labyrinth of online resources, transforming it into a personalized library for your self-directed learning odyssey. All right, that was way over the top. That was not my style at all, but it did embellish. I wouldn't say elevate. I would say embellish. I would say complicated. It complicated my text with a bunch of different metaphors. So we started with the gold rush and unearthing treasures and, like these kinds of vibes of the gold rush, basically, which is not my style, but it did the job correctly. So I just wanted to show you that if you need an analogy, it's probably best to work with shorter sentences. Otherwise, you would get like very elaborated and complicated twists. But yeah, it did work. In terms of limitations of what ChatGPT can do to elevate your writing, I have outlined a couple of different ones. The first one is that edits created by ChatGPT may introduce new errors or simply inaccurate changes, so it's not going to be necessarily better. Second is that the feedback that it might give you is going to be limited compared to a real person or someone whose job it is to edit text, like an editor, for example. Third is that it cannot provide in-depth critical analysis. It doesn't reason per se, so it's only going to give you some feedback on the grammar or on the structure, but hardly on critical sense. And finally, you are always going to be required as a human to fact check the final draft or the final edit. So do not take it as is and deliver that to your essay teacher, for example. It's not going to work. Oh, and one more thing. I promise I did not use ChatGPT to write the final sentence of this lecture. I'll see you in the next one. When it comes to writing copy, one of the worst things that can happen to you is creative block or writer's block. That's the overwhelming feeling of being frozen in front of a blank page, not really knowing where or how to begin. Often, all we need is a bit of direction or a guiding thread to continue writing. And here, again, ChatGPT excels at providing that initial outline to kickstart our writing process. In this lecture, I will show you a series of prompts to get ChatGPT to create clear, structured outlines for your writing project. And once again, we will be tackling some real-life projects, like asking ChatGPT for book chapter outlines, summarizing the key points of every chapter. Or we will ask it to get outline templates, so a structure for online courses. We'll have ChatGPT draft essays and article outline. And finally, we'll develop outlines for scripts, stories, and other kind of like storytelling project. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's start by generating a simple outline for a book. All right, so this is my prompt. Can you please create an outline for a book on the career of Michael Jordan, between brackets, with chapter summaries? Okay, so I'm trying to write like a biography book on the life of Michael Jordan, a basketball player. Okay, so there you go. I have several chapters here being written, and it's pretty detailed. So let me go back to the outline. So outline 1, introduction, setting the stage, the basketball landscape in the 1980s. Part 2 highlights the early years, the making of a legend. So it has 4 chapters: childhood and family background, high school career, emerging talent, college years, the rise of a star at UNC, and so that's University of North Carolina, I believe. And 4th chapter, NBA draft and joining the Chicago Bulls. Okay. Part 3 of the book, rookie season, a glimpse of greatness. I like the titles. Introduction to the NBA, Rookie of the Year campaign, establishing himself as a force in the league. Okay. Part 4, building a dynasty, the Chicago Bulls era. Phil Jackson and the Triangle Offense, rivalries with other NBA teams, so the Detroit Pistons and all of that, 3-peat championships, 1991 to 1993, first retirement and baseball interlude. So that's when Michael Jordan kind of quit basketball and went into baseball for a little while. Part 5, comeback, the return of the king. First chapter, I am back, return to basketball. Second, 3-peat, 1996 to 1998. Iconic moments and achievements. Next chapter, beyond basketball, Michael Jordan's influence, impact on pop culture, business ventures and endorsement, legacy of the court. Then chapter 7, retirement and beyond, final farewell to basketball, ownership and management roles, Jordan brand and philanthropic efforts. And then chapter 8, the last dance, retrospective and reflections, the last season with the Bulls, documentary The Last Dance on Netflix, Michael Jordan's enduring legacy, and then conclusion, summary of Jordan's career and impact, lessons learned from the life of Michael Jordan, final thoughts and closing remarks. I love that. I think this is, for myself, being a fan of Michael Jordan, this is a very complete outline about the life of Jordan. And I like how well written all of these titles are, like The Return of the King and stuff like that, like the Chicago Bulls era, a glimpse of greatness during the rookie year, the rookie season. All of this is really cool. So after that, I've got a little bit of like each chapter summary and what it does for the book. So yeah, I'm very satisfied with this detailed outline of my book. With this in mind, I can definitely keep on building for the book. I'm not going to be using this as is, but I'm definitely not starting from a blank page. Let me show you something else. And this is something I have been doing over and over whenever I come up with the structure, with the outline of a tutorial, a new course I want to develop. I would use this prompt to ask ChatGPT to critique my current outline. All right. And the prompt goes like this. Does the outline of this course logically flow? What improvements would you suggest? I would like you to critique my outline as if you were my mentor. So that is the prompt. And now what I can do is to simply paste the outline of a specific course that I have in mind. Okay, I have here pasted the entire outline of the ChatGPT course, the one you are taking. So there we go. This outline is, so it's a little bit of a mess here, but it contains 11 different sections, okay? So I'm gonna quickly go through them. Section 1, getting started with ChatGPT, crafting effective prompts. Section 3, which I ended up moving towards the end of the course, understanding the technology behind ChatGPT. Section 4, learn anything quickly and for free. Section 5, improve your copywriting skills. That is this section right here. Section 6, ChatGPT for content creation. Section 7, social media marketing with ChatGPT. Section 8, build a profitable business with ChatGPT. Section 9, turn ChatGPT into your personal assistant. Section 10, improve your personal life with ChatGPT. Section 11, using AI responsibly and the future of chatbots. Okay, so that is in a nutshell like the 11 sections of the course. So here is the critique. Overall, your outline is well structured and covers a broad range of topics related to using ChatGPT effectively. However, there are some areas where the flow could be improved and some suggestions for enhancement. Section 1, getting started with ChatGPT. This section provides a solid foundation for users to familiarize themselves with ChatGPT. However, it might be beneficial to include a brief overview of what ChatGPT is and how it works before diving into signing up and creating prompts. This would give readers a better understanding of what they are getting into right from the start. That's an interesting point. Section 2, crafting effective prompts. This section logically follows the introduction by delving deeper into the mechanics of using ChatGPT. It might be helpful to include examples of both effective and ineffective prompts to illustrate the principles discussed. Okay. Section 3, understanding the technology. I'm going to skip this one because I haven't yet written it. Section 4, learn anything quickly and for free. While the topics covered in the section are relevant, the transition from understanding ChatGPT's technology to using it for learning feels slightly abrupt. Consider bridging this gap by explaining how ChatGPT's capabilities can be applied to learning effectively. Doesn't apply because I moved that section. Section 5, improve your copywriting skills. This section provides practical application for ChatGPT in improving writing skills, which is a logical progression from crafting effective prompts. However, consider expanding on how ChatGPT can help with specific aspects of copywriting, such as tone, style, and audience targeting. Very well, etc., etc. So I'm getting feedback on all of the sections and some specific feedback. So once I have that, I could follow up with a prompt that would ask ChatGPT to kind of revise my structure and add the relevant lectures. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. This will considerably extend, like make this lesson considerably longer, which I don't think is necessary. But the prompt you could use is, great, now please rewrite my outline to include all your suggestions. Okay, so I'm going to run the prompt, but I'm not going to read its answer, just to show you how ChatGPT is going to quickly integrate these suggestions into a new revised structure. And you don't have to accept them all. You could be picky about the ones you decide to integrate. But yeah, basically, that's a great way to have a first critique of the work you've done, of the outline you have drafted. All right, let's dig a little bit deeper still. Let's imagine you are starting a brand new course and you are, again, facing this blank page. Like you're not inspired, you don't know where to start. So you could ask ChatGPT something like this. Generate a detailed outline for an 8-module online course on, opening the square brackets, buying your first apartment. Okay, whatever topic comes to my mind. Diana and I are trying to buy our first apartment, so why not? I would benefit from a course like that. But there you go, running the prompt, and ChatGPT is going to draft my outline with 8 different modules, just like I prompted it. Okay, so module number 1, Introduction to Apartment Buying. Understanding the decision to buy an apartment. Advantages and consideration of apartment living. Setting realistic expectation for the buying process. Okay. Module 2, Financial Preparedness. Assessing your financial situation. Budgeting for your first apartment purchase. Understanding mortgage options and pre-approval process. Okay. Module 3, researching the market, identifying your housing needs and preferences, exploring different neighborhoods and amenities, researching market trends and property prices. Okay. Module 4, searching for the right apartment. Module 5, evaluating properties. Module 6, making an offer and negotiating. Module 7, securing financing and closing the deal. Module 8, financially, conducting final property inspection, completing the closing process, legal formality. Okay. Module 8, moving in and beyond. Okay. So this is this gives me a base. It's definitely not a comprehensive course. Like some parts are probably missing. I need to maybe ask it to generate a certain number of lessons in each module. I didn't specify it, so it went for default 3 lecture per module. My courses are more 5, 6 lectures per section. So this is totally something I could have included in my original prompt. Let's say I am interested in developing further module 6, making an offer and negotiating. Okay, particularly lecture 2 of the course there, like of the module, negotiating price and terms with the seller. So I could follow up with a prompt like this. Could you quickly outline lecture 2 of module 6, negotiating price and terms with sellers? So if I run this, it should give me a more robust outline for this specific lecture. Okay, and I can give it more details, like more boundaries in my prompt. For example, I could say I want this to be a 15-minute lecture, or I want this to be about 2 pages long, and it will adapt its outcome for me. All right, so very quickly here, Module 6, negotiating price and terms with the seller. There you go, an introduction, overview of the importance of crafting a competitive offer in the apartment buying process, understanding market value, assessing seller motivation, very important, components of a competitive offer. We have strategies for negotiation, setting clear objectives, building rapport, offering incentives, flexibility and compromises, then legal consideration, exercise, crafting your own offer. Okay, so it has a bunch of different things here that are interesting. So once again, this is me not starting from a blank page, leveraging ChatGPT to start like pre-chewing the work for me. Okay, so I'm already kind of like deep into the structure of my course at this point, and I can really add my personal touch. So I'm creating something that is mine. All right, folks, let's move into something else. Let's go back to school, because I know some students watching this course, they are, okay, like I need to write this essay. Can ChatGPT write my essay? The short answer is yes, it can. Now, should you do it? Probably not. But I am going to show you the type of prompt I would use if I was a student, kind of like on the lazy side, wanted ChatGPT to help me with an essay, or at least the first draft of my essay, because I don't recommend you just generate an essay with ChatGPT and deliver that to your teacher. It doesn't make any sense. But if I was to write an essay, if I was 16 years old, I would use this prompt. Provide a 5-section outline for a 2,000-word essay on, and then you put your topic like gratitude, in which you debate on the idea that our whole life is borrowed time. Okay, so that's what I came up with. So an essay, 2,000 words on gratitude, debating the idea that our whole life is borrowed time. Okay, so there you go, an outline, introduction, definition of gratitude and its importance in life, introduction to the concept of life as borrowed time, right? That's what we need to debate. Thesis statement, exploring the notion that our entire existence is a gift, prompting gratitude. Part 2, gratitude, understanding its significance. Part 3, life as borrowed time, debating the concept. Part 4, finding balance, gratitude amidst the awareness of mortality. And conclusion, recapping the key points regarding gratitude, life as borrowed time, final thoughts, encouragement for embracing gratitude as a means to enrich our borrowed time. Okay. All right, so this doesn't write your entire essay, but it gives you a solid structure to work with. And I'm not willing to show you any further prompt to really write the entire essay because, as I told you, I don't think it makes any sense. And I do think anyone should be able to write. That is part of your education. All right, moving on to the last prompt I have for you guys for this lecture. This one is for the parents out there who need to come up with bedtime stories for their children every single day. Dad, Mom, I need a story. Well, I kind of ran out of stories. No, you never run out of stories when you have this prompt. So draft a story outline for children's book using animals as characters and with a 3-act structure focused on teaching empathy and kindness. The story should teach kids about putting themselves in another's shoes, promoting understanding and compassion. Okay, so here it's really up to you to change what's in between the square brackets for whatever morale or morality of the story, whatever values you wish the story to teach your kids. So that is, in my opinion, very powerful. Let's run this and let's see what kind of story ChatGPT comes up with. All right. So there we go, titled The Kindness of the Wise Owl. So Act 1, Introduction, meet the forest animals. So a couple of different animals, an owl, a bunny, a squirrel, and a fox. Okay, they establish the peaceful harmony of the forest. And next, the problem emerges, of course. So someone is feeling sad because she has lost her favorite carrot. Each animal offers suggestions on how to find it, but nothing works. Oliver's observation. Wise owl Oliver notices Bella's distress and decides to help. He suggests that they all think about how Bella might be feeling and where she might have lost her carrot. The rising action, putting themselves in Bella's shoes, etc., etc. So the search begins. Lessons learned. As they search, the animals learn more about each other's perspective and struggles. They start to appreciate the value of kindness and compassion in helping each other. And the final act, resolution, success, and celebration, the power of empathy, spreading kindness, the end. So there you go, you have your outline. So based on that, we could ask ChatGPT to write the entire story with a specific tone of voice for a specific age of an audience. I could say my kids are 5 and 7. Please write the entire story of, and just use the few names here, in about 5 pages, or so that it lasts around 10 minutes. And ChatGPT will draft the entire story for us. And this is where I am going to leave it for now. In terms of limitations, well, the first one is that these out-of-the-box outlines will lack real-world relevance most of the time and require your expertise, your knowledge to be fine-tuned. The second one is that creative projects require human imagination and storytelling and feeling and experience. So always use ChatGPT's outcome as your base, not your destination. Do not use it out of the box. Next, bear in mind that these structures that will be generated, these outlines, should align with your specific needs and your specific goals. So always double check that they align. And then last but not least, you always need to add your personal touch to get to a final draft. Okay? Do not skip this part, because this is what is going to make the difference from people merely leveraging ChatGPT to do the work for them, that's the lazy way, versus people who are leveraging ChatGPT to be better than others who don't use ChatGPT, but still put their stamp on it, put their style on it. This will make the difference. People don't read articles anymore. They peek at headlines. And only if that headline was intriguing or excited enough will these people bother reading the first paragraph of whatever they are reading. This has become our new reality on social media or even online, where we have very little time to capture attention. If we want to catch and hold people's attention, we need to bring our A game when writing titles and headlines. And that means putting extra effort into making them engaging. And here again, ChatGPT can help. My goal for this lecture is to test a series of prompts for ChatGPT that will help you generate creative and compelling headlines or titles for your written content. Now let's have a quick look of what this lecture will cover. We'll start by asking for titles and subtitles based on draft articles and draft courses we have created. We'll generate titles for all sorts of material like books, papers, presentation, different projects. And finally, we'll get ChatGPT to test multiple headlines and select the best option. All right, let's start with a simple example. Let's say I am writing this very course right here, and I'd like ChatGPT to help me come up with some creative titles and subtitles for this course when I will upload it on Udemy, okay? So I can work with ChatGPT to brainstorm some title and subtitle ideas. For that, I could use a prompt like this one. So let me read it to you. Suggest 5 to 10 creative and catchy titles and subtitles for my new introduction course to ChatGPT. Here's an example of title and subtitles I had in mind for this course for your reference. So I'm giving it a one-shot example, right? So title, the No BS ChatGPT course. Subtitle, 50 plus actionable prompts to optimize life and work. And here is the entire outline of the course. So you can have a bird's eye view of its content to create the most accurate titles and subtitles, and then paste your draft or your outline. So obviously here we need to replace what's in between the brackets by our outline if we already have one. So in my case, I'm just going to paste the entire table of content of the course right here, so I provide more context to ChatGPT. So there you go. I have copied it, just going to add one space here. All right, so I have pasted the entire outline here. There are some extra spaces here, but they don't really matter too much. So I'm just going to run the prompt and see what comes up. Okay, so I can scroll all the way down. There you go. So that was very fast. I have 10, not 15 to 20, I have 10 prompts right here. And I'm going to read some of them to see if they are any good. So number 1, mastering ChatGPT, unleash your creative potential, crafting conversations for success in life and work. All right, not particularly keen of this one. Number 2, ChatGPT Decoded, your ultimate guide to AI mastery, harnessing AI power for productivity and innovation. Number 3, ChatGPT Unleashed, the ultimate prompting playbook, transforming ideas into actionable results. I have 10 titles and subtitles for my course. To be completely honest, I already had used ChatGPT to come up with my one-shot example right here. So the one I put here in the prompt, the No BS ChatGPT course, 50 actionable prompts to optimize life and work, was already the fruit of a research, of a brainstorming session with ChatGPT. So I came up with this one. I decided to go with this one. But what I wanted to show you is that you can generate a lot of different ideas right here. And obviously you can mix and match your results. You could use the title from this suggestion, for example, and the subtitle from this other one. I do have one observation though, is that when it comes to writing titles or subtitles, I've noticed that ChatGPT tends to use the same kind of keywords like unleash or decoded. You see again, unleashed or ultimate. Like ultimate is something that comes up very regularly in titles, or revealed, like secrets revealed, stuff like that. And I'm not particularly keen, or mastering, I'm not particularly keen on these types of keywords. I think they sound a little bit generic. So, and you see here again, unleashing. So I tend to try to avoid these, but that's just me. Maybe you find them appropriate for your type of content, and there is a way we can go around that. And I'll show that to you a bit later in the lecture. All right, so that was my first prompt. Let's move on and try something slightly different. Let's imagine for a second that I am organizing a digital detox retreat right here in the city where I live, which is Barcelona, Spain. And I would like people to be able to search online, like maybe Google a couple of keywords and find my digital detox retreat in Barcelona. So my goal for this next series of prompts is to come up with the perfect tagline for a landing page on which I will be promoting my digital detox retreat in Barcelona. All right, so I'm going to start like this. So this is the prompt. List 15 to 20 different keywords and expressions people might use on Google to search for a, between brackets, digital detox retreat in Barcelona. Okay, so obviously you can replace what's in between these brackets for anything really you are trying to create copy about. All right, so let's start with this. So immediately I get like my keyword list. Okay, so digital detox retreat, Barcelona. Unplug retreat, Barcelona. Technology-free retreat, Barcelona. Barcelona wellness retreat, mindfulness retreat, disconnect retreat, Barcelona. So a mix of different like tech-free getaway, Barcelona, Barcelona retreats for relaxation, detox from technology. So all types of expressions filled with the keywords that ChatGPT thinks will trigger the search engines, okay, will give my content some chances of ranking in search engines. So this is great. So now I have a base to work with. Now, the next step would be to figure out the why. Like, why would people go on a digital retreat? Remember, my end goal is to come up with a great tagline for a landing page that will promote the retreat. Okay, so I'm going to follow up with this prompt. Great. Now, list 15 to 20 keywords or expressions of what the potential benefits of a digital detox retreat might be. So you see what I'm doing here? I am simply asking ChatGPT to brainstorm some of the core benefits, like what are people gaining by joining my retreat? And there you go, I have my 20 kind of benefits of what digital detox retreat might do for me. Okay, so mental clarity and focus, stress reduction and relaxation, improve sleep quality, enhance creativity and productivity, deeper human connections, increase mindfulness and presence, etc., etc. I have 20 really cool arguments that would advocate for anyone to join one of these digital detox retreats. So I have the keywords or expression, the key expressions that will rank well. I have the 20 potential benefits. And now I need to tie both of these sets of SEO optimized keywords into one. I need to blend them. Now ChatGPT has enough context to come up with the perfect tagline. So I'm going to tie it all up with this next prompt right here. And this is going to be the last prompt of the three. Based on these keywords related to digital detox, suggest 5 to 10 catchy taglines for our landing page selling our digital detox in Barcelona. All right, so let's go. All right, so I have my 10 catchy taglines right here. I'm going to read a few of them. The first one, unplug, recharge, reconnect. Barcelona's ultimate digital detox retreat. Escape the screen, embrace the serenity. Digital detox retreat in Barcelona. Disconnect to reconnect. Your journey to clarity starts here in Barcelona. Okay, break free from screens, refresh your mind, renew your spirit, digital detox retreat in Barcelona. Leave screens behind, find yourself in Barcelona, digital detox heaven. Okay, unplug, explore, flourish, join our digital detox retreat in Barcelona. Okay, I like the first one, unplug, recharge, reconnect, Barcelona's ultimate digital detox retreat. Maybe I would get rid of the ultimate. There was another one, disconnect to reconnect. This is pretty good. Disconnect to reconnect, digital detox retreat in Barcelona, something like this. So again, it would be a case of mix and matching the different titles, but as you can see, ChatGPT provided me with a solid SEO optimized list of taglines for my landing page. So all of this, the research, the brainstorming, the SEO optimized expressions, and the taglines, really helping me craft the copy that I need for my landing page much easier. So once again, I'm pretty happy about this prompt. Try it with any kind of project you have. Just replace what's in between the brackets and follow the same steps. Now, let's get into something different. All right, let's try something else. Let's see how ChatGPT can help me in my job as a YouTuber. Okay, as you know, on YouTube, very important are the titles, as important as the thumbnail. So they usually work together. So let's imagine that I do have a title idea for a video I'm producing, but I would like ChatGPT to help me come up with some better titles, some more YouTube friendly or more optimized titles. So I could use a prompt like this one. You are a YouTube expert. Help me optimize this video title to get more clicks and to catch the attention of our viewers. Keep the title under 50 characters. And then I give it the title, Branding Fundamentals. Why do you need a visual identity? Okay, so the reason why I ask it to keep it under 50 characters is that above that character limit, the title tends to be cut on YouTube. So especially when you're watching it from a mobile device. So you will see, for example, branding fundamentals, why do you ... because the title has been cut off because we've reached the maximum number of characters per line that YouTube is displaying. So when you keep it under 50 characters, it means it will never be cut off, and people will be able to read the entire thing by glancing at it. So I believe this is important. Might not be, but this is not just me. Also, Mr. Beast suggests that you keep your titles very short. So yeah, let's see what ChatGPT suggests here. So there you go. One single title, unlock success, why visual identity matters. Okay, so I'm going to follow up with a couple of things here. So once again, I have these kind of cliche keyword unlock. Not completely happy with this. So I'm going to follow up with this. Give me more alternatives. Okay, give me more alternatives. And there you go. So now I have a longer list of options. So first one, boost your brand, visual identity's power. Visual identity, key to brand success. Elevate your brand with visual identity. Why visual identity is crucial for brands. I like this one. Transform your brand, embrace visual identity. Okay, so once again, I get the typical keywords that ChatGPT loves to use for titles, like boost, elevate, okay, crucial, okay, transform your, embrace visual identity. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to avoid these cliches. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to follow up and try to force ChatGPT not to use some of these keywords that I don't like. All right, so the prompt I'm going to be using is this one. These are okay, but you tend to overuse cliche terms like boost, elevate, embrace, mastering, etc. Please be a bit more creative and avoid these unoriginal keywords. Give me 10 more. So let's see if it understands. Visual identity, the brand's silent ambassador. Your brand's look, more than just a logo, okay? Visual identity, crafting brand distinction. The art of visual identity, branding deep dive, okay? Decoding visual identity, again, like coming back with the word decoding. Brand impact unveiled, okay? Shape your brand's future with visual identity beyond aesthetics in branding. Forge a unique brand identity with visuals. Visual speak, crafting your brand's voice, and brand identity, visuals that tell your story. So there are some better stuff here. I like the second one, your brand's look, more than just a logo. I like that, but we kind of lose the keyword visual identity, which I believe is important. Number 3, maybe visual identity, crafting brand distinction, or number 10, brand identity, visuals that tell your story. This is pretty good. I like that. Or forge a unique brand identity with visuals. So you see what I had to do here? I needed to get ChatGPT back on track, which is something you will need to do over and over. That's the iterative approach I'm often referring to. The prompts are not going to be great out of the box. So it is your role as the captain of this ship to correct the trajectory when it goes off rail. So this is what happened here. I noticed that it was overusing some of the cliche keywords, so I forced it not to use them, and I forced it to think outside of the box. You could literally prompt think outside of the box to get some more original outcomes, I would say. All right, guys, let's go one step deeper. Now that I have these 10 ideas, all right, these 10 suggestions, these 10 options for my title, I would like ChatGPT to give me the final 3 and even to show me which one it thinks is the best. So I'm going to be using this prompt right here. Thanks. Now, among these, pick the 3 best ones and rate them out of 100, 100 being the highest score. Your criteria must be the relevance for my audience of graphic designers and beginner branding professionals. Explain your choices. So here I'm giving it a very specific task. I want it to pick the best three and rank them. Like, give me your top three and explain how much of a scoring, of a rating you give them. Let's see what it comes up with. So here I have the two options. So this will happen sometimes when ChatGPT wants you to kind of like give it some feedback about the quality of its answers. Okay, so I have my score right here, 92 out of 100, 88, and then 85. All right, so I guess the best one would be this one, according to ChatGPT. Visual Identity, Crafting Brand Distinction. This title strongly resonates with graphic designers and branding professionals because it emphasizes the creative process, crafting, and the goal of achieving distinctiveness in branding, which is a core objective of their work. The term brand distinction speaks directly to the result they aim to achieve through visual identity, making it highly relevant. All right, the second title, Decoding Visual Identity, Brand Impact Unveiled. Score 88 out of 100. It's funny because I really didn't like this one because it contains the word decoding, unveiled. So these cliche words again. So I'm not going to read the reasoning for this one. And the last one, Visuals Speak, Crafting Your Brand's Voice. Score 85 out of 100. And again, some reasoning why it chose it. So each of these titles is designed to appeal to the creativity and professional interest of graphic designers and branding professionals, focusing on the transformative power of visual identity in branding. So you see here, I'm going to choose any of these two responses. But the key here is that first, I have put ChatGPT in a specific situation. I'm giving it the freedom to rate my options. So it gives me a precise scoring system that I can refer to. And second, I ask it to explain the reasoning. And most importantly, I gave it some context about the audience who is going to be watching these videos, because then it has some very clear criteria. It can tap into its knowledge and understand, okay, so graphic designers and branding professionals, they have goals, they have two different concepts that ChatGPT knows. So it knows how to resonate with these categories of people. So I encourage you to evolve this prompt, to refine this prompt to really match your audience, your specific needs. But yeah, as you can see, it's very precise and it gives me some great reasons that I'm satisfied with when it comes to choosing. It's not just like, here are your titles and there's no further explanation. All right, let me show you another way you can ask ChatGPT to make decisions for you when it comes to titles with this other prompt right here. Here are some YouTube titles I came up with. Could you help me pick the best one or brainstorm some better ones? The title needs to be as short as possible. Explain your reasoning. So it's a different video and I give it 4 different titles I came up with. So this could be the case when you have like already used ChatGPT maybe to brainstorm some titles. You have a list and you need to shortlist it. You need one title, okay? So the 4 options: ChatGPT prompts I use all the time, ChatGPT 5 prompts to write better copy, 5 ChatGPT prompts to make you a better writer, and 5 ChatGPT prompts to improve your everyday writing. Okay, so these titles are already pretty good. Just wanted to pick one, or if none of these are good, create a better one. Let's see what it says. All right, among the titles you've provided, 5 ChatGPT prompts to improve your everyday writing stands out as the best choice. And here is why, okay? So I like that it's a clear answer. So the 3 reasons: clarity and appeal. This title is clear and directly communicates the value proposition to the viewer, okay? It promises tangible improvement in a specific area, everyday writing, which is a strong motivator for clicking. I agree. All right, so number 2, target audience relevance. It's likely to attract a wide range of viewers interested in enhancing their writing skills, not just professional writers, but also students, professionals, and casual writers. So here it says that the target audience might be broader because it's everyday writing, not just a very particular type of writers. And the third reason, specificity and promised outcome. By specifying 5 ChatGPT prompts, it sets clear expectations for the content and suggests a concise, value-packed videos. The phrase "improve your everyday writing" suggests practical, applicable advice. If you're looking for alternatives that are shorter or might capture the essence in a different way, here are a few. Boost writing, 5 ChatGPT prompts. ChatGPT elevate your writing in 5 steps, and 5 keys to better writing with ChatGPT. All right, so I'm pretty happy about the choice it made and also the information I could harvest about creating my title. So this not only gives me a narrowed down list, but also a bunch of things to consider for my next titles I will write for my channel. All right, guys, let's switch it up a little bit and wrap up the lecture with these last two prompts, okay? This time, I want to show you that you can really get personalized recommendation for titles, okay? I'm going to start with something completely different, moving out of the content creator niche and venturing into something I'm much less comfortable with, academic paper. All right, and here is my prompt. I am writing a research paper on pediatric cancer treatments. So you see, really not my comfort zone. Can you suggest some academic but compelling titles? All right, so here I'm asking for a specific tone. Okay, academic, but compelling. And this is the title. So let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. Certainly, crafting an academic yet compelling title for your research paper is crucial to attract the attention of peers and stakeholders. Here are some suggestions that blend scholarity appeal with engagement. All right, so let's go. We have 10. Innovative hope, emerging therapies in pediatric cancer treatment. Shifting paradigms in pediatric oncology, new frontiers in treatment. This sounds very scientific and research paper indeed. Beyond traditional therapies, a new dawn in pediatric cancer care. Pediatric cancer, navigating the future of targeted treatments, etc., etc. So you see how different these titles are from the typical YouTube titles that are kind of like clickbaity and catchy and engaging. This is a completely different way of speaking because we're speaking to a very distinct audience. So what I wanted to show you through these two different examples is that ChatGPT really will create based on the context you gave it. So really, you need to be as precise as possible when crafting your prompt, giving it the keywords. So here, if we come back to my prompt, these keywords, like these specific words that forced it to write in that specific manner, were research paper and further down the sentence, academic. All right, so very different kind of output. All right, guys, as always, I'm going to finish this lecture with a couple of limitations of things to remember. The first one being that the headlines that you will generate with ChatGPT should always align with your tone of voice or your brand voice, because at the end of the day, this will represent the personal brand you are creating. The second limitation is that you need to be careful, you need to strike a balance and not over-optimize your titles and headlines for SEO when it comes at the expenses of the quality of the readability of your content. Next, I will always recommend you run these headlines that you generated with ChatGPT through a few people that you know and trust that are part of your target audience to get some feedback. Also, remember that this is an iterative approach, so you probably have to prompt and correct the trajectory and prompt again to really get the best fit in terms of headlines and titles. And finally, be aware that ChatGPT tends to use the same keywords for generating specific types of media or when it needs to write content for a particular platform. We've seen that with the prompt that asked it to generate titles for our YouTube videos. All right, folks, I think you're doing great. You're making some good progress in this course. In the next lecture, we'll focus on tone of voice and we'll see how ChatGPT can help us get that tone right. One of the hardest things to achieve when using ChatGPT as a writing companion is to get it to generate outputs in the right tone of voice. Out of the box, ChatGPT tends to write in a generic, uninspired, and often cliché tone of voice. That is, unless we tell it otherwise with the right prompt. In this lecture, I will show you how to use ChatGPT to easily decode and emulate the tone of voice and style of different texts. And in a nutshell, here is what the lesson will cover. We'll start by asking ChatGPT to identify the tone of voice of specific passages. Then we'll ask it to break down what are the attributes that convey a casual or formal tone. We'll request writing samples emulating a conversational or academic or business tone. We'll get ChatGPT to write in the style of famous or fictional characters, and you'll see this is a pretty funny part of the lecture. And then we'll practice adapting that tone for different audiences and different contexts. All right, let's start with the basics. I want ChatGPT to help me analyze and describe a tone of voice based on a specific text passage I will feed it. Okay, so my goal is to emulate my own tone of voice so I can grab a piece of draft text that I have and turn this into something that sounds like me. All right, so one of the best text passages that I think represents my voice is my LinkedIn bio. So I'm going to go there and grab that bio. So here I am on my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to scroll down. You see the About section right here. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to click here on See More or Read All and take everything from this bio right here. Okay, Control C. And I'm going to come back to my ChatGPT window here and Command V to paste everything here. I'm not going to give it my email because you shouldn't give ChatGPT your personal information. So I'm just going to put hello@xyz.com. Okay, so that's good enough. So my entire bio is here, my About section, and I need to come back to the beginning, right? Add a couple of spaces here, and the prompt I'm going to be using for this analyze of my tone of voice is the following. Please read this passage and describe the tone and style the author is using. Highlight the specific attributes that convey that particular tone. Then you paste your entire passage of text that represents your tone, and that's it. I'm going to run the prompt and see what ChatGPT can teach me about that tone of voice. Okay, so here we are. The tone of the passage is assertive, confident, and entrepreneurial, with a hint of informality and enthusiasm. Okay, so then I have a couple of bullet points. I have 5 points. And the first one is informal language. The author uses informal language like emojis, so the little gun, the nail polish, the wink, colloquial phrases like ever thought about, and casual expression, nah, hit me up, which adds friendly and approachable tone. Okay, I think that's indeed what I try to do here. Second point, confidence and assertiveness. Okay, the author exudes confidence and assertiveness throughout the passage. They speak with certainty about their expertise and accomplishments, using phrases like I can help you, or I know a thing or two, or I am now a verified Canva expert, and I help organizations do XYZ. Okay, confidence and assertiveness. 3, enthusiasm. There is a palpable enthusiasm in the author's language, especially when they talk about their passion and achievements. They use exclamation marks, helping companies look as good as they are, expressive phrases like creating value one tutorial at a time, and positive language. Make something amazing happen together. Okay, good. 4 is self-promotion. The author promotes their skills and achievements confidently, showcasing their expertise and success. They highlight their credentials, such as being the leader of the largest Canva community on YouTube, their experience working with notable companies and the impact they've made through their nonprofit organization. And then finally, point number 5 is inclusivity and collaboration. Despite the self-promotion, the author also expresses a willingness to collaborate and help others. They invite readers to reach out for collaboration, want to chat, hit me up, and emphasizes their desire to make a positive impact together. Overall, the author's tone is upbeat, confident, and inviting, creating a sense of excitement and possibility for readers interested in content, entrepreneurship, and branding. I think this is very accurate. I think this describes me and my tone of voice. So I would definitely continue prompting to go deeper. Now that I have a description, I need ChatGPT to kind of remember that description and maybe use a specific name, a code for triggering that tone of voice. So I would follow up with this prompt. I want you to remember the above description of the tone of voice. From now on, we'll call it Ronnie's voice. You see here, I gave it a name so that it's easier for me to call it back. So I could say, write this in Ronnie's voice, and then paste a passage. So what I will do next is to paste a couple of highlights of ChatGPT's description previously in this sentence right here. Remember, his tone is upbeat, confident, and inviting, creating a sense of excitement and possibility for readers interested in content entrepreneurship and branding. Okay, so I'm pasting a piece of its actual description. Next, I'd like you to rewrite any piece of text I give you using Ronnie's voice. Write "let's go" sunglasses emoji if you understand. So I'm going to run this prompt and it should tell me the let's go. Okay, let's go sunglasses emoji. So now ChatGPT is ready to write in Ronnie's voice, right? Based on the tone description. And me, I'm just going to be using a draft introduction that I'm working on for this course. And it's not ready yet. It's just like some information that's there. It doesn't carry my tone. So I'm going to grab that, put it here, and see if ChatGPT can emulate my tone of voice. All right, I have pasted my text here. It's like 3-4 paragraphs. I'm not going to read it all. I don't want to bore you too much, but trust me, it's not very much on brand. So I'm going to run the prompt and see if the end result sounds like me, because that's the end goal. Okay, so it goes like this. And this is the introduction of section 4 of the course, which is about learning everything with ChatGPT. Okay, so unlock the full potential of your learning journey with ChatGPT. Rocket emoji. This section is your guide to turbocharging your skill acquisition process across any topic or subject area. Dive into the treasure trove of ChatGPT's vast knowledge to fast-track your learning journey. Learn how to distill key insights from written resources like books and academic papers, harness online materials for self-directed learning, and verify the accuracy of ChatGPT's knowledge. Discover strategies for mastering new languages with efficiency, crafting personalized study plans, acing practice tests, and retaining information effectively. Empower yourself to transform ChatGPT into your very own virtual tutor, leveraging AI to supercharge your memory, sharpen your focus, and rapidly elevate your skills, all without breaking the bank or sacrificing precious time. Whether you're aiming to polish up on school subjects, acquire essential skills for a career transition, or simply indulge your thirst for knowledge, this section is your gateway to unleashing the full power of accelerated learning with ChatGPT. Let's embark on this exciting journey together. Star emoji. All right, so I find this text a little bit over the top, but it's definitely better than the previous draft that is right here. If you're interested, you can pause the video and read it. It's all in here. This is pretty bland. Now, this one, like I said, a little bit over the top, like a little bit too much, like on the extreme side of things, extreme characteristics of my tone of voice, like overexcited and like, like when he's using words like turbocharging. I like turbocharging, but I don't know, it's a little bit much. And there's a treasure trove somewhere, like I would never use something like that. But hey, this is much better. It requires some fine tuning, but this is the idea. And this will work with any passage of text. It doesn't need to be your tone of voice that you're trying to emulate. If you're reading a blog post and you enjoy the style, by all means, like bring that copy into ChatGPT, use the same prompts and analyze what makes this tone something you enjoy. Analyze its attributes, and then you can start reproducing similar tones. All right, let's move on. I want to show you something else. Let's say this time you don't have a particular text passage to analyze, but you'd like to get some information about how to write for a specific purpose. For example, me, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, as you know, and we're always writing YouTube video descriptions, for example. I would like to have the right tone, like to nail the right tone for my description. So I could use a post like this one. How can I write in a more engaging tone when drafting YouTube video descriptions? Okay, so that's the context. I'm giving ChatGPT the context. Break down a list of attributes of an engaging tone of voice for an educational channel on YouTube. Okay, so I feel this prompt gives ChatGPT just enough context, like YouTube video descriptions, educational channel. Okay, so with that, it should have enough to point me in the right direction. All right, so there you go. We have 10 bullet points. I'm not gonna read everything, don't worry, but I'm gonna highlight the keywords. All right, so first one, conversational, right? As if you are having a friendly conversation with your viewers. Enthusiastic, clear and concise, interactive, empathetic, informative, humorous, if appropriate, personal, inspiring, and don't forget the call to action. So every one of these keywords, characteristics, is followed by a 1-sentence or 2-sentence explanation. So I think this is very appropriate. So now based on that, I could probably ask ChatGPT to write me a prompt so that I can write in that specific tone of voice. So to do that, I could use a prompt like this one. Great. Could you craft a ChatGPT prompt that would force it to write in that specific tone of voice you just described? And while you're at it, also give me a code name for this tone of voice. Okay, so I'm trying to get the whole package here to have the prompt, but also a code. Okay, so code name, sparkling engage. All right, I don't like that, but whatever. So prompt, imagine you're crafting a YouTube video description for an educational channel. That's the context. Your goal is to captivate and inspire your audience, keeping them engaged and eager to learn. That's kind of like the goal, like why we are doing this. Write the description with a tone of voice that is conversational, enthusiastic, and clear. Inject some interactive elements to encourage viewers' participation while also being empathetic and informative. Add a touch of humor if it fits the context, and don't forget to personalize the content with anecdotes or personal stories. Wrap up the description with a compelling call to action, inviting viewers to take the next step in their learning journey, right in the style of sparkling engage. All right, I think this is pretty good. And I am not going to test that right now with my YouTube video description. I mean, not doing this tutorial, but I'm going to be using this prompt because it sounds like exactly what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, very satisfied about this prompt, except the ridiculous code name. But yeah, I mean, we still have some work to do. All right, guys, moving on. There's one last thing I want to teach you in this video about generating tone of voice. This is going to be funny. It's reproducing, emulating the voice of famous characters, okay? Could be living people, could be fictional characters. I want to do that. So I'm going to start with this prompt right here. I'd like you to write an email to my boss, Jerry, to let him know I won't be able to come to work today because I partied too hard yesterday. Don't tell him about that, obviously. Okay, so this is not yet the prompt to get the tone of voice. I just need some text to start with, my base, all right? So here is my base. Hi, Jerry. I hope this email finds you well. I want to reach out to let you know that unfortunately I won't be able to make it into work today. I woke up feeling under the weather this morning and it seems I've caught a bug. I've been feeling a bit off since last night and I believe it's best for me to take the day to rest and recover fully. I understand the inconvenience this may cause, and I apologize for any disruption to the team's schedule. I assure you I'll do my best to catch up on any missed work as soon as possible. Please let me know if there is anything urgent that requires my attention remotely, and I'll make sure to address it promptly. Thank you for your understanding and support. Best regards. Okay, so that's a very bland, a very generic email to tell your boss you're not coming to work. All right, now let's spice it up. I'm going to be using this prompt right here. Do you know Hank Moody from the TV show Californication? So Californication is a TV series. Hank Moody, played by David Duchovny, a very funny character, kind of like writer who's kind of depressed, but is living this kind of rock star life. Anyway, so Hank Moody, if you know him, you know who I'm talking about. So ChatGPT, yes, I'm familiar with Hank Moody from the TV show Californication. Is portrayed by actor David Duchovny and is known for his witty and cynical personality, as well as his struggles with writer's block, relationships, and substance abuse. Hank Moody is a central character in the show, and his unconventional lifestyle and misadventures often drives the plot forward. So exactly. So Hank Moody and his witty, cynical personality is the tone of voice I would like ChatGPT to emulate to rewrite my email. All right, so now let's use this simple prompt. Rewrite this email in Hank's tone of voice. Okay, run it, and there you go. Subject, out of commission today. Hey Jerry, hope you're holding down the fort over there. I just wanted to shoot you a quick message to give you a heads up. I won't be making it to the office today. Woke up feeling like I got hit by a freight train, if you catch my drift. Seems like I've come down with something nasty overnight, and the thought of trying to power through it at work is about as appealing as a root canal. I know it's a pain to shuffle things around last minute, so I apologize for any hassle this causes. I'll make it up to you guys, promise. And if there's anything pressing that needs my attention from home, just give me a holler. I'll be keeping an eye on my inbox. Thanks for understanding, Jerry. Catch you on the flip side. Cheers. So this is, yeah, indeed, witty. This is funny. This is, yeah, Hank Moody's personality. I mean, me reading this, I could picture Hank just like calling his boss. Now let me show you something else. Like, we'll keep the same base, but this time I want to adapt who Hank is going to be talking to. He's not going to be talking to Jerry, his boss. He's going to be talking to his 5-year-old daughter. Okay? I want to show you through this example that ChatGPT can really adapt the tone of voice based on who it's destined to. All right? So the target audience. So I'm going to be using this prompt. Now, rewrite this email and adapt it as if Hank was speaking to his 5-year-old daughter, letting her know he cannot take her out for ice cream this afternoon, as he originally promised. Okay, so the next phone call or the direct next message Hank is going to be sending after Jerry is, oh no, I remember, I promised my daughter to go for an ice cream, so now I need to cancel that as well. Okay, let's see how ChatGPT can adapt this. Change of plans, kiddo. Hey there, kiddo. I've got some news that might bum you out a bit. Remember how we talked about getting ice cream this afternoon? Well, turns out I won't be able to make it happen today. That is feeling a little bit under the weather, like when you got a tummy ache after eating too many sweets. I really wish I could be there with you, but my body needs some extra rest today to get back to feeling 100%. I know it's disappointing, and I'm sorry for letting you down. How about we plan something extra special for tomorrow instead? Maybe we can have a picnic in the park or build a fort in the living room. What do you say? Thanks for being understanding, sweetheart. You are the best. Big hugs. So yeah, very well adapted to a 5-year-old. Now, what I did with this last prompt can be very powerful when applied to marketing. Imagine you have to write a sales copy and adapt that copy to a specific target audience. Well, you could feed some context about the target audience to ChatGPT and ask it to adapt the tone of voice of your copy so that it resonates with that target audience. Let me show you. The prompt I'm going to be using to demonstrate that is the following. My target audience consists of 25 to 42-year-old female North American who are into yoga and organic food. So that's the context, the target audience. Write an Instagram caption introducing an online course about brewing your own kombucha. Use the proper tone, phrasing, and expressions. It's important the post resonate with the target audience. Okay, so let's run that and see what ChatGPT comes up with. So we have some emojis. Okay, so some kind of leaf, star emoji. Dive into the world of holistic living with our newest online course. Calling all yoga-loving organic food enthusiasts, get ready to embark on a journey to brew your very own kombucha at home. And then we have a bowl with flying star. From the basics of fermentation to creating unique flavor profiles, our course is your ultimate guide to crafting the perfect batch of probiotic goodness. Join us and sip your way to wellness one bubbly brew at a time. Hashtag kombucha life, hashtag holistic living, hashtag DIY brewing. All right, this is cool. I mean, this is enthusiastic. Yeah, I could see the target audience when I'm reading this might need some fine tuning, but I have a good base to work with. All right, guys, let's wrap up the lecture by talking about a few limitations related to tone of voice. The first one is that tone analysis via ChatGPT could be a little bit of a hit and miss. So you may miss some nuances or misidentify some of the subtleties of the tone of voice. The second caveat is that mimicking a tone of voice has limited effectiveness if we don't have a full understanding of the context, like why are we writing this? Who is going to be reading this? So ChatGPT might not have all of that information, and therefore the tone of voice might be not exactly the one you are expecting or you were. Next, and this one is very important, ChatGPT tends to use the tone to the extremes. So it's often a caricature of what the tone should be. I've personally experienced that when I try to emulate my own tone of voice. ChatGPT tends to exaggerate specific aspects of it. If I am being casual, it's too casual. If I am being overexcited, it's too much. Like sometimes we have to tone it down. And then finally, your own writing style and voice require practice and skill. It's a living thing. It's hard to encapsulate under one prompt. So yeah, it might be difficult to actually show ChatGPT what your tone is all about with a limited number of extracts or passages of text. All right, guys, that's it for this lecture. In the next one, we'll focus on writing better emails. Imagine getting back hours each week. Hours that you currently spend crafting important emails or figuring out replies to client inquiries. And whether you're running your own business or creating content, your time is precious and shouldn't be spent on emails. So in this lecture, I'll show you how a few smart prompts for ChatGPT can transform the way you write and respond to emails. And this will not only improve your communication, but help you reclaim your time. Here is what this lecture will cover. First, we are going to use ChatGPT to evaluate and edit our email draft. So before sending it, we are just going to run them through ChatGPT. Second, we will ask it for suggestions on how to improve the structure and organization and the flow of our emails. Next, we'll see how we can use ChatGPT to write better titles for our emails and get people to open these emails. We'll also lean on ChatGPT to make our emails shorter and more to the point. And last but not least, we'll get some advice on matching the tone of voice we are using in our email to our audience and to our goals. So that's what I have on the menu. Let's get to ChatGPT and start prompting. The very first thing I would like to show you is to simply grab a draft of an email that you have already worked on and run it through ChatGPT and ask for improvement. All right, so I'm going to be using this prompt right here. It says, please review this draft email to my manager requesting time off. How can I improve it? Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm giving ChatGPT a little bit of a context. Okay, so this is an email to my manager to request time off. So after that, obviously, you need to paste your email draft. Okay, so I'm going to paste mine here. Hey, Jerry, how are you doing? I've been wondering if you would be okay with me taking some time off next week. I'd like to get the entire week off from the 12th to the 17th, if that's possible. I feel very tired and having some rest would help me recharge the batteries. Ronnie. Okay, so that's very basic. Let's see how ChatGPT can improve that. Okay, so there you go. Your draft is concise and clear, which is good. Here are a few suggestions to improve it. The first one is greeting. Okay, hey Jerry is a bit informal for work email. Consider using hi Jerry or hello Jerry instead. Okay, good point. Opening, how are you doing is friendly, but in a work email, it's generally better to get straight to the point. You can skip this line and jump right into your request. Very good point. point. Your request is clear, but it could be more formal. Instead of, I've been wondering if you would be okay with me taking some time off next week, you could say something like, I would like to request time off for the week of, and then the dates, due to fatigue and the need to recharge. Reason for time off. You mentioned feeling tired, which is a valid reason, but it might be beneficial to provide a bit more context. For example, you could mention that you've been working on a particularly demanding project or have been experiencing increased stress lately. And then closing, consider ending the email with a polite closing such as, thank you for considering my request, followed by your name. Here's a revised version incorporating these suggestions. So I love that ChatGPT would just improve my draft after critiquing it. It will give me a new version, an improved version. So here we go. Hi, Jerry. I hope this email finds you well. I would like to formally request time off for the week of April 12th to April 17th. I've been feeling quite fatigued lately, and I believe taking this time off will allow me to recharge and return to work with renewed energy. Thank you for considering my request. Best regards, Ronnie. So I believe this email is generally better. So I can just copy that and send it to my boss, Jerry, hoping he will give me my time off. All right, moving on to something else. This was the basic, I would say, normal use of how to use ChatGPT to improve your emails. Now, let's focus on subject lines. Let's imagine you are in a corporate environment, you're working at your job on a specific project, and you need to communicate to your superiors about deadlines and deliveries and, like give them an update on what you're doing and how you're doing with this current project. So in that context, we could use a prompt like this one to figure out the best subject line for our email. Can you provide some examples of clear professional subject lines for work emails about deliverables and deadlines? Okay, so I'm going to run this and I should probably get a few suggestions, alternatives here. Certainly, here are some examples of clear and professional subject lines for your work emails regarding deliverables and deadlines. Okay, action required, project name, deliverable due by deadline. Urgent, submission deadline for task/project approaching. Reminder, task or project deadline tomorrow. Important, final deliverables needed by deadline. Request for immediate attention, task/project deliverables due to Okay, so here we have 10 pretty kind of like alarming, like, hey, pay attention to this email kind of headlines or subject lines. So I think ChatGPT did a good job at this. This is indeed quite corporate kind of subject lines, but yeah, that's exactly what we asked for. So yeah, I think this did the job. All right, moving on to something else. If you're like me, you probably receive a ton of emails, right? Me, one of the kinds of emails I receive regularly are email to inquire possible collaborations about a sponsored video or us promoting a brand or a particular app or software or platform on our YouTube channel or other social media platforms. So these are brands reaching out to us. And most of the time, we are not interested in these collaborations. Sometimes we are, sometimes we aren't, but most of the time we aren't. So I found ChatGPT really useful when it comes to just quickly answer these emails. All right, so let me show you first the email that I would like ChatGPT to respond to. And I changed names and things like that for confidentiality reasons, but the email goes like this. Good day, dear YouTuber. I'm the manager of XYZ. Obviously, I changed that. We have some unusual software that we would like to promote on your YouTube channel. We think this collaboration would be perfect for both you and us. Would you like an unusual collaboration? What is XYZ? Okay, the easiest way to create music on a computer. So a little blurb about what they do, who they are, why do people choose us, benefit that go beyond creating digital artwork. Thanks to us, you no longer have to worry about where to get the components of your artwork. Blah, blah, blah. You found this offer interesting? Reply to this email and we will discuss all details of our cooperation. We cannot wait to hear from you so we can get to work. So what do I do when I receive an email like this one? Well, I evaluate if this is a project I would be interested in. If I feel like I could, I will talk to Diana, present her the opportunity, we'll make a decision together and come back to the company with an email. In this case, I don't really see a fit between a music making software and our audience. There's no clear connection there. So I would simply reply to this brand that we are not interested, or at least for now, but maybe in the future. I don't like to close doors completely on companies like this one, because I know the company. It's a pretty big company. They've been around for a long time. So let me show you what the prompt is that I'm going to be using for this one. Could you draft a response to this email? Tell them that we're not interested at this time, but keep the door open for a potential collab in the future, okay? And then what I'll do is just like write email, colon, and then just paste the email right there, the email I just read to you. Right, let's run the prompt and see what kind of email ChatGPT can craft for me. So there you go, very quick. Dear Sander, okay? Sander between brackets, so you can change the name to whatever the name of the person is. Thank you for reaching out and presenting the opportunity to collaborate with XYZ. While we appreciate your interest and the innovative nature of your software, we've carefully evaluated our current priorities and commitments and have decided to pass on this opportunity at this time. However, we want to express our gratitude for considering us for this collaboration. That being said, we're genuinely intrigued by the concept of XYZ and believe it aligns with our interest and audience. While we may not be able to proceed with a collaboration right now, we would certainly be open to exploring potential partnerships in the future as our circumstances evolve. Please keep us informed of any future development or opportunities for collaboration. We wish you the best of luck with your endeavors and look forward to the possibility of working together down the line. Thank you once again for considering us. Best regards. Okay, this was pretty good, pretty lengthy, I would say. So we could follow up by asking it to make this email more succinct, which I'm not going to do right here. But yeah, I think this is a good enough response. I could simply copy that, paste it in my email, change the name, and I'm good to go. I just saved myself 15 minutes. Right, something else we could do with emails is simply to ask ChatGPT to generate email or newsletter content ideas, okay? I'm gonna refresh, I'm gonna start a new chat so we don't confuse ChatGPT right here. And this is the prompt I would like to try with you. Okay, so it goes like this. How should I structure a sales email to our contact list to pique their interest for our new course called Canva for Social Media? Okay, so I'm giving ChatGPT a little bit of a task here. Like I want to pique the interest of our contact list about a new course, Canva for Social Media, in a sales email. So let's run the prompt and see what ChatGPT has in store for me. So a bunch of information here. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I'm going to go quickly through the answer. Okay, so first I have a subject line. Okay, revolutionize your social media presence with Canva Mastery. I don't like that, but we could use the prompts that we've seen in the previous lecture to kind of craft better titles and headlines and work on that subject line. But that's not the point for now. I'm just trying to figure out the structure of my email. Opening, greeting, so personalize the email with the recipient's name, introduction, briefly introduce yourself and your company if necessary, and the hook, capture attention with a compelling statement or question related to the challenges of social media marketing. Okay, so the body of my email should contain problem identification, solution introduction, course highlight, social proof, exclusive offer, and then a call to action, clear call to action. Use a strong and specific CTA such as enroll now, learn more, or claim your spot, and a clickable button. Make it easy for recipients to take action by including a prominent button linking to the course registration page. Closing, thank you, contact information, signature. PS, last chance reminder, add a PS section reminding recipients about the limited time offer or any upcoming deadline. So that's kind of like adding the time pressure to your sale. Example, and then it gives me a full example, which is quite cool. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, it's pretty long, but yeah, I think ChatGPT did a good job at structuring that sales email. It understood perfectly what kind of product I'm selling and therefore adapted the content of the email. So yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this answer. Now, one thing I could do here is to once again tap into ChatGPT's knowledge in order to help me with a different framework. You might already know that there are some very effective sales framework when writing emails, landing pages, etc., like sales material, marketing material. So what I'm going to do now is to open ChatGPT in a second tab right here on my browser and use that second tab to gather information about different sales frameworks. Okay, so here's my fresh page, and this is the prompt I'm going to be using. What are some of the proven sales framework to write sales emails? Okay, so this should be enough to give me a bunch of different alternatives here, and some of them we've already seen in this course. So we have first AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action, and then a brief description of that framework. Second, we have the PAS framework, problem, agitate, solve. We have the SPIN framework, situation, problem, implication, need, or payoff. We have the BAB, before after bridge framework, the 3x3 writing process. Some of these frameworks I've never heard of, but these are existing framework. All right, so situation, start by establishing the recipient's current situation or context. Problem, highlight the problem. Implication, need, payoff. Introduce your product service as a solution and emphasize the benefits. Okay, I like the SPIN framework. So I'm going to copy the first line right here. So actually, I'm going to copy the entire thing, which is better, and come back to the tab, the other tab that I have open with ChatGPT with the email it just generated. Okay, so I'm going to paste what I just copied, so the SPIN framework, and holding my shift key, I'm going to add a couple of spaces here because I need to paste my actual prompt. And the actual prompt is this one. Rewrite this sales email using the SPIN framework: situation, problem, implication, need, or payoff. Okay, and then I would simply have all of the information I collected from my other tab that is open right here, which is the entire SPIN framework and the 4 bullet points explaining each of the words that are making part of this acronym. All right, so perfect. So it should know which email. So rewrite this sales email. ChatGPT should know I'm talking about this specific email. All right, so I can run the prompt, and there we go. I have the email. So subject, elevate your social media game with Canva mastery. Situation, so the SPIN. Remember, situation, problem, implication, and then the need, payoff. All right, so I'm not going to read the entire thing, but I can see straight away that it has divided the email according to the SPIN framework. So I'm just going to read the last part because I'm intrigued about this need payoff thing. So that's where our new course, Canva for Social Media, comes in. Designed with busy marketers like you in mind, this course offers a comprehensive solution to your graphic design woes. By mastering Canva's intuitive platform, you'll unlock the power to create professional quality graphics that capture attention and drives results. Here is what you can expect from our course. Bullet points, okay. And then goes on and on with Canva for Social Media. Not only save time and resources, but also empower your brand to make a lasting impression in the digital sphere. So a bunch of different arguments. Obviously, you need to go through this, tweak this, maybe add some of your personal touches, tone of voice, but you have the base. You have a very solid base. And you already know that this base is leaning on a proven sales framework, the SPIN framework. So I think this is wonderful. You could go and experiment different frameworks. And that, again, like I've said that before, I love using ChatGPT in different windows so I can tap into its knowledge and bring that back to my original window where I can perfect my prompts. So yeah, once again, I'm very happy with this prompt. All right, the last prompt I have for you in this lecture to write better emails is one that will make a lot of people happy. I tend to write quite long emails, right? Especially when I'm not quite sure how to articulate things. I have this tendency of speaking too much. So here is a prompt that will help me make my emails more to the point, and in that way, save people's time, people who are reading my email. So the prompt is the following. I often write lengthy emails. Can you condense this draft for me? After the revision, please outline your changes and the reasoning behind them. Okay, so obviously you will need to paste an email. So me, I have this long email right here that I am going to paste. Okay, so this is an email about a company, once again, investigating how much it would cost to work with us on different things like promotion of their product or consultancy. So I'm giving them some information about my consultancy services, okay, how long the sessions would last, how much would they cost. Second would be the promotion of their platform or product, two different ways of working with us, a 60 to 90-second mention or a dedicated video, and each of these options have their respective prices. And to protect confidentiality, here again, I changed names and all the numbers of this email. But yeah, that's a pretty long email, I would say. So yeah, let's see how ChatGPT can make that shorter and what is the reasoning behind its decisions. Right, so let's see. We have the email straight away. Hi, Sophia. That's not her real name. It was great chatting with you about XYZ app in Canva. Here's a quick summary of how I can add value and associated prices. Consultancy, 60-minute video conference sessions, tailored outcomes and goals, screen sharing and prepared slides, price XXX euro plus VAT. Promotion, 60 to 90-second mention in a YouTube video, customized copy option, price, dedicated video, video published across multiple platform, price. Hope this clarifies things. Looking forward to hearing more about XYZ. And then the changes made. Okay, condensed sentences to improve readability and clarity. That is absolutely true. I tend to write long sentences. These were to the point, simple, straightforward. Simplified description of the services. Also, absolutely. We don't need to give them full explanation about what we do, since we don't even know if they want to work with us yet. Streamlined pricing details for better understanding and removed casual remarks to maintain a professional tone. So yeah, this is a much shorter, a much better email, like a more impactful email, in my opinion. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Couple of limitations regarding writing emails with ChatGPT. The first one, kind of like the obvious one, is that anything that ChatGPT writes for you in an email and how it writes it, so the tone, the style, and the content, will always require your expertise and judgment, okay? So you should always at least read them once they come out of ChatGPT. Second, you should avoid over-relying on AI, on ChatGPT, to communicate on your behalf. And this for a couple of reasons, because if you stop writing your own emails altogether, you might just forget how to do it. And also, you want you to sound like you. All right, so you shouldn't give up too much on that. Third, avoid sharing personal information with ChatGPT. So don't paste your email address, don't paste personal data, even your full name. I would always try to avoid sharing these confidential information. And then last, you don't want your email recipients, like the people who are going to read your email, to actually notice that you used ChatGPT to write that email, because it doesn't sound too polite and respectful for that person's time. So in other words, if you are going to use ChatGPT to help you with your email workload, do it in a smart way, because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. Learning different languages has been one of the best time investments in my life. It has enabled me to travel around the world, but also to forge friendships wherever I have lived over the years. However, I believe learning languages might not be as appealing an investment soon, because AI will eventually let us translate everything instantly, allowing easy communication with anyone in the world, no matter the language they speak. Now, we aren't quite there yet. We're getting close, but not yet. So, in this lecture, I'll show you how you can use ChatGPT to translate written content into other languages for wider reach. And here is what the lecture will cover. We start by seeing how we can leverage ChatGPT to get quality translations of pretty much anything, could be content, social media posts, etc. Then we'll have ChatGPT translate marketing material into different target languages, in case we want to expand to new markets. We'll get translations tailored to different cultural contexts. We'll see how some things can be said differently in different regions of the world, even within the same language. And then finally, we'll ask for translations to then be back translated into its original language for accuracy check or verification that the translation has been done properly. All right, let's jump into it. Right, let's start with something relatively easy. We are going to ask ChatGPT to translate some text for us into a different language. So the prompt I'm going to be using is the following one. Please translate this YouTube video description draft from English into conversational Spanish. And I could add Spanish from Spain. Okay, so that is the prompt. And I am going to paste my YouTube video description, obviously. So I'm just going to write description and paste it. So there you go. All right, so I'm not going to read the entire thing, but that's just the video description of one of our What's Hot episodes on YouTube. Discover 12 exciting updates that will enhance your Canva design experience like never before. From creating websites to editing videos and photos, we'll guide you through the latest improvements in the user interface, etc., etc. It goes on for a few paragraphs. Okay, so let's run that and see the Spanish from Spain translation. Okay, because I speak Spanish, I can judge of the quality of the translation. Descubre las 12 emocionantes actualizaciones que mejorarán tu experiencia de diseño en Canva como nunca antes. This is pretty good. Desde crear sitios web hasta editar vídeos y fotos, te guiaremos a través de las últimas mejoras en la interfaz de usuario. Okay, so all of this is pretty good in my opinion. So that was an easy task, okay? Now, let's double check if this translation was accurate. All right, so we have a translation. Let's imagine you're not that fluent in Spanish, but you still would like to kind of understand if the job has been done correctly. So I have this follow-up prompt that should allow you to kind of reverse the translation back to its original language. And you will see like it's a series of 2 prompts. The first thing we'll do is to reverse it to the actual language, origin language. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Add a few lines on top and use the following prompt. Translate this YouTube video description draft from Spanish into conversational English. So I'm reverting it back to the original language. Okay, so I pasted the Spanish translation here. So let's go. ChatGPT is going to generate the English version again. So now, and this is the important part of this exercise, I'm going to compare this text to the very first description draft I pasted into ChatGPT. This should tell me if the translation has been accurate or not. So I'm going to be using this last prompt of the series. Compare this translation to the following draft. How similar are they? Give me a note out of 100. Highlight any differences between the 2 drafts. Okay, so I'm going to paste the original draft right here, and then the final draft right here. Okay, so first the original draft. I'm going to come back all the way to my first prompt right here, copy that, paste it here, and then scroll down, and similarly, yep, all the way to here, final draft, paste it here, and run the prompt. So the original draft and the final draft are almost identical, with only a slight difference in punctuation and formatting. The only difference is the punctuation at the end of the first sentence in the final draft, where a period is used instead of an exclamation mark in the original draft. Note 99 out of 10. So if I quickly read them, because I didn't read them, yeah, these are indeed like a normal dot exclamation point right here. But yeah, other than that, this video is jam-packed with all the latest. Okay, so I think this worked very well. It also reassured me about the accuracy of this Spanish translation. So yeah, I believe this is well done. I would recommend you always use this 3-part prompt when you translate, especially if you are translating into a language that you do not master, because this could really save your butt when it comes to being accurate with the information you are translating. Now, let's move on to something else. Sometimes you need to translate for specific markets or regions where, the type of language people speak there might be slightly different from another region of the world where they speak the same language. Let's imagine Spanish from Spain compared to Spanish from Latin America, for example. And even in Latin America, you have Argentinian Spanish, you have Colombian Spanish, you have Peruvian Spanish, so many different variations, localization of the same language. So let's see how we can take these cultural and regional differences into account when translating with ChatGPT. So the prompt I have is this one right here. Okay, I'm gonna start by translating idioms. Okay, sometimes you have an idiom in a specific language, like in English, and when you try to translate that into a different language, it just doesn't work because this idiom doesn't exist. All right, so the prompt is this one. How would you translate this idiom into French, considering cultural nuances? Okay, and the idiom is one I borrowed from the English language, which is best thing since sliced bread. Okay, when you use, and that is the best thing since sliced bread, it means this is one of the best thing I've come across so far. Yeah, so best invention since sliced bread. This doesn't really translate too well into French, so I'm curious to see what ChatGPT will bring here. In French, an equivalent idiom that captures the idea of something being exceptionally good or innovative is la meilleure chose depuis le pain tranché, the best thing since sliced bread. This translation maintains the essence of the original idiom while incorporating cultural nuances. French speakers would understand the comparison to sliced bread as a reference to something widely regarded as convenient and essential in daily life. I have never used that idiom so far, like la meilleure chose depuis le pain tranché. So let me quickly Google that to see if this is a ChatGPT hallucination or if it's actually an expression, an idiom in French that I happen to not know. La meilleure chose depuis le pain tranché. Québec, okay. Se dit d'un objet ou d'une idée dont on vante les mérites. Yeah. So it might be a Canadian, like Quebec kind of idiom. Rien de mieux depuis le pain. Okay, all right. So yeah, I didn't know this. I didn't know it was a thing in French, particularly not something you'd say in French from Belgium or from France. Like this didn't work. So not convinced about this first attempt at translating idiom. Let's try with another one. So here's the second prompt. Again, with hold your horses. Okay, so hold your horses in English is an idiom that people use to say, hey, wait a second. Okay, hold your horses, like be patient, wait a second, just like to slow things down. Okay, again with hold your horses. Let's see. In French, an equivalent idiom to hold your horses would be tiens tes chevaux or tiens-toi tranquille. Hold your horses or hold yourself calm. This phrase conveys the idea of asking someone to be patient or to slow down, similar to the original English expression. However, it's worth noting that idiomatic expression can vary across languages and culture, blah, 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 blah. So, tiens tes chevaux, again, never used like tiens-toi tranquille. Yeah, definitely. Tiens-toi tranquille is just like normal French, I would say. Tiens tes chevaux, not so much. So yeah, this experiment is, I'm not convinced because it just literally translates the idioms like word for word. And I'm not quite sure why it does that. So tiens tes chevaux, again, I'm gonna Google that because I'm not sure. Tiens tes chevaux, okay, femme, tiens tes chevaux. Je monte à cheval, tiens tes chevaux. I don't see this as a French idiom, okay? Tiens tes chevaux, French idiom. Is that a thing? Tiens tes cheveux, French idiom. Tiens tes... No, okay. After double checking the accuracy of tiens tes chevaux, which is the translation ChatGPT gave me, I found out that this was not a French idiom, all right? So be careful when you're translating these things. So yeah, ChatGPT might miss these cultural nuances, okay? So be very careful. I thought it would work. It didn't quite work as well as expected, but hey, that's also part of the learning experience. And I didn't want to edit this part out of the course to warn you that you need to be careful when translating your material with ChatGPT. Now, let's focus on something else. Let's see how we could localize specific languages for different regions of the world. So remember my example of Spanish from Spain or from South America or similarly French from France and Quebec. So that's what I call like the regional preferences, okay? The prompt is the following. Translate, "Are you kidding me?" to Spanish, focusing on Spanish from Spain. Okay, so I know a few ways to say that, so I'm curious to see if ChatGPT is going to give me the right thing this time. So the phrase, "Are you kidding me?" can be translated to Spanish, focusing on the Spanish from Spain as "¿Estás de coña?" or "¿Me estás tomando el pelo?" These expressions convey a sense of incredulity or disbelief similar to the original English phrase. Now, for these ones, I can vouch that this is indeed the way a Spanish person from Spain would say that. "Are you kidding me? ¿Me estás tomando el pelo?" This is correct, like as far as I know. "Estás de coña?" also, but maybe a little bit less polite. So yeah, I would stick with "Me estás tomando el pelo?" Okay, so this is good. All right, now let's see. Let's travel the world a little bit and ask for the same thing, but this time now Spanish from Colombia. How would a Colombian person say that? "Are you kidding me?" in their regional version of Spanish. In Colombian Spanish, "Are you kidding me?" can be translated as "¿Estás bromeando?" or "¿Me estás vacilando?" Okay, these expressions capture the same sense of incredulity or disbelief as the original phrases. So you see how different Spanish from Spain and Spanish from Colombia actually is. And for having traveled to Colombia a couple of times and being married to a Colombian lady since 9 years, I think this is accurate. So yeah, I just wanted to show you how you can use ChatGPT to get into the depth of a specific language, exploring its different cultural or regional nuances. Now let's refresh ChatGPT. Let's use a new chat and get into something else. Like I would like to show you how I sometimes use the chatbot to help me find the most appropriate word, okay? Or say things in the best way possible. So remember our example of translating the YouTube video description? Well, let me introduce you to this following prompt. Please provide some Spanish synonyms for the word potenciar, along with their corresponding definitions. This is the full sentence I'm using. And then just take a sentence from the description. En este video revelamos nuestros 16 mejores consejos y trucos para potenciar tu creatividad al máximo. Okay, so in this video, we reveal 16 of our best tips and tricks to improve, to power your creativity to the maximum. Okay, kind of like this is like a easy, quick translation. So here, really, my goal is to find some synonyms along with their definition so I can understand which one is best for this particular word in this particular sentence. So let's see what ChatGPT suggests here. Claro, aquí tienes algunas opciones. And then it will only give me things in Spanish because the exercise is about a Spanish piece of text and a Spanish definition. So en vez de potenciar, instead of potenciar, I could use incrementar, estimular, potenciar, que ya this is the one I'm currently using, mejorar, fomentar, amplificar, fortalecer, impulsar, maximizar, o potenciar. So 2 times potenciar. So yeah, this is kind of like a hit and miss, but I do have some cool synonyms that would work well instead of potenciar. And then once I'm here, I could ask it, what would be the best option according to you for my sentence? Okay, so I can ask it to pick one instead of giving me 10. So there we go, I have an answer here for your sentence. En este video revelamos nuestros... I think potenciar works well as it emphasizes enhancing or maximizing creativity to its fullest potential. However, estimular could also be a good option as it conveys the idea of stimulating or encouraging creativity. Both options fits nicely depending on the nuance you want to convey. Okay, so the first one, potencial, it just gave me the same word. Maybe it lost the context a little bit, but it gave me a second one, estimular, which is, I think, a great fit as well. It's a little bit more, and then it gave me the nuance, conveys like the idea of stimulating or encouraging creativity. So this could work very well as well. All right, guys, I think we've seen some good stuff in this lecture already. I have one last prompt. This time, to kind of ask ChatGPT to translate into a language that, one, we don't master, and two, that has a different alphabet. Okay, so the prompt I'm going to be using is this one right here. Can you translate this product description into Thai for our market expansion? So Thai is a language I've learned for about 2 years, so I have a basic level, forgot a lot. But I also learned back then how to read and write, so the alphabet I'm quite familiar, or I was quite familiar with. But now we need a product description. So I'm gonna grab one from a potato peeler on Amazon, and it's just a couple of characteristics. Okay, so I'm just gonna paste them here for you. So that potato peeler has sharp, hardened stainless steel blade, easily peels cucumbers, apples, and more. It has soft, comfortable, non-slip handle cushions, hand during repetitive peeling motions, built-in potato iron, okay, amazing tech. Removable cover protects the blade. Okay, so let's translate that into Thai. Sure. Okay, so and then we start having the Thai words. Kruang, kruang. The first word is kruang, which means machine. Kruang, like in Thai, kruang bin would be machine to fly. Kruang, that means a plane, for example. So that's as much I can read from this. So this is pretty cool. But obviously I cannot understand all of like everything that is written here. I would be incapable of even reading it, as a matter of fact. So I have a translation, but how do I know if this is actually accurate? Well, we are going to be using the same technique we used earlier, all right? So we are going to translate back into the original language. And this time we are going to do so in a different tab, so ChatGPT doesn't cheat, so to speak. So the way I'm going to do this is to copy all of that. All right, Control C, move over a different chatbot right here. I'm going to say translate that Thai product description into English. Okay, and then paste the entire description. There you go. Potato peeler. The sharp and durable blade made of stainless steel is suitable for peeling cucumbers, apples, and other fruits easily. Soft, comfortable, and non-slip handle help prevent hand fatigue during continuous peeling. Equipped with an oil dropper for potato oil. So that is not correct. It's not an oil dropper, it's a potato eye remover. So the eye of a potato is that black spot on your potato. You could remove that with a special feature of the potato peeler, I guess. So this one is not correct. It has removable cover to protect the blade. So the rest is correct. So you see here how important it was to actually double check on this translation. And also, and weirdly, I feel like the second bullet point was actually more easier to understand after translating back from Thai to English. Soft, comfortable, non-slip handle cushions, hand during repetitive peeling motion. Okay, so yeah, the translation of that was soft, comfortable, and non-slip handle helps prevent hand fatigue during continuous peeling. That was actually much clearer than the original sentence right here. All right, this was great. Now, as always, I believe this is important. I would like to draw your attention to a few limitations when it comes to translating with ChatGPT. The first one is that these translations may lack localized nuance and require refinement. So if you ask ChatGPT to translate into Spanish, it will tend to translate into Spanish from Spain. So if you are translating for, I would say, a country like Nicaragua, you might miss that cultural relevance. Next is that some languages are better supported than others by ChatGPT. The most common languages, I would say, would be like better translated. Idiomatic expression or highly regional phrases or expressions can sometimes get lost in translation. So that is something very possible. Also, you should always translate back to the original language in order to double check the translation's accuracy. We've seen how to do that. And also, if you're going to be using your translated copy for commercial purposes or for some important documents, if you can, have some native speakers review your important communication for you. Also, congratulations guys, you've made it to the end of this section of the course.